Hey guys, so this is a recap of today's live guided adventure, and it was daily healing prompt 161, and it was most impactful point that I can heal about my physical and spiritual sense of direction. And then when we went in, we basically all went to some sort of like game, like a circus type game. Like Kat went to like the 90s or 2000 early 2000s like Back to the Future ride. I think she said it was at Universal Studios, and I went to like a rubber like back and forth type of ride, which made me think of the slingshot ride, which I don't do those types of rides. Like roller coasters are kind of my thing, and Kat doesn't do those types of rides that she was talking about usually, and because of motion sense and stuff like that. And then everybody else was basically saying the same thing of like they went to these like types of rides. Like Holly was saying, hers felt like a wave, and then everybody, yeah, like Marjorie and the same thing, same basics of like a ride. And I was like, what the fuck is this? We're at some kind of ride. We're at some kind of theme park. And then I was like, okay, take me back to before this happens. And so I went back to before it happened. Obviously, there was nothing there. And then other people went to like, it was like blacked out or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then a couple people were gonna be late, and I was like, oh, I'm getting that that's about like bathroom stuff, which is also really interesting. And then I like energetically pressed play to see where we went and like what happened around us. And then like stuff was like building around us. And Kat was like, it reminds me of the people that think that they're in a simulation and that their body is somewhere off, and like they're playing the game, and like their body's like somewhere like being held or whatever, and they're like in a game, which is not the case. And then like earlier today, me and Kat were talking, and we were talking about like Kat says our corner of the collective often, and she has for like a really long time, and I say like our community. And I don't know, it was like this machine where we went to look at like our community's like refueling station, like family refueling station and stuff like that. And so it looked like a rock tumbler, and I was like, I don't know, everybody looks like they're throwing up. And then like when we connected the pieces to the class, it was like, yeah, because it was a fucking ride. But she was like, yeah, like earlier in the day, she was like, yeah, it's like, I don't think it's concrete. I think it's corrosion, because I did the concrete removal healings to it, and it was like corrosion. And I was like, yeah, and I could not update and upgrade it. Could not do it before we cleaned it off. And so like we kind of just like stopped talking about it, and then the class happened. And then we started talking about it in the class, and that was this ride during the class. And she was like, yeah, I used to tell people in my TikTok comments, how are you going to come into my house and get your dirty shoes all over this? Like, but she said a quote from something. I can't remember what it is. It was like, and get your dirty shoes all over my, I don't remember. Not drag. So like as the sediment was getting healed and coming up and stuff like that, a bunch of stuff that I didn't actually care about or anybody else actually cared about was like coming up to the surface. And anyway, the reason why everything got all gunked up was that like we would take people in and think that they were healing and doing the things, and like, because you know they would put on this like face like, oh my god, yes, I am so healing, and they wouldn't do anything, and they would just stay there, and we work our fucking asses off, and they would just kind of sit and be tumbled in the rock tumbler and be like, yes, polish me, yes, like, you know, I'm just a rough stone. And it's like, what? So eventually that all got collapsed, because why? And like, you know, infrastructure was built, and then it's like everybody heals their own thing. Like, we're not healing things for people, and Kat's not healing things for people, and I'm not healing things for people. And I was like, that's really interesting, and that's probably why a lot of people just deem me a sidekick. And like my first account on TikTok got yeeted. And it's like, yeah, that's probably why. They didn't fucking want me to be there, number one. And it was a rock tumbler. And it felt very, like, not my house. And I was like, that's crazy, because, like, there's things that I built here. I built, like, what? Just very odd. A very odd place to be. But it makes a lot of sense. Like, all of it made a lot of sense. Yeah, it was really emotional and really, like, what the fuck And then at one point I was like, something, Jennifer, get off of me. And then fucking, I was like doing all the, oh, it was during the close up / shine offs. And like Jennifer like looked at the camera. She's like, what? Didn't see her. So I could not stop laughing because I like looked at her and Kat was like, Kate, you didn't even say it. You just said, Jennifer, get off my left arm. And you didn't even say anything. And I was like, oh yeah, I should probably explain that. And then Kat was like, yeah, like, you know, we all lean on each other at some points. And I was like, oh yeah, it is like you weren't sitting on me, Jennifer. Like you were leaning on, and I could not stop laughing because all I could do, I kept picturing Kat's face and then what Kat said and then like Jennifer's face. And I was like, oh my God, it was just so fucking funny to me. Anyway, we always have like a really good time in those. This one was crazy. And that just be how it is. Like that just be how it is. Anyway, okay, love you. Bye.